Welcome to the Theatre of the Mind. Welcome to Wednesday Nights Live. Welcome to the bloody cold. Honestly, I can't begin to tell you how embarrassed I am being a northern boy, and I'm feeling the cold. We just don't. But age, it's one of those things you can't avoid. So I've got six. Oh, I've got 6 layers on. I'm jesting. Well, what we're going to do tonight, should we roast Rachel? Should we roast Rachel, the landlady, who's been talking out of her derriere? Did you not listen to it? And Kemi Badenoch. Oh, we'll talk about her. Kemi, where did you come from? Kemi not good enough. Kemi definitely on the mark. Good enough today. Oh, the funniest line. The Tory party speechwriters must have been having a field day. Laurel and Foolhardy. What a great line. You know that's going to be one of the headlines tomorrow. So we're going to get stuck right in. So we're all going to laugh at the Labour Party. We're all going to laugh at Rachel, the landlady. Rachel, Robert Reeves. She's never going to live that down. But it was, well, I mean, tonight's going to be very interactive is all I can say. Because I want your opinion on lots of things. I want your opinion on what she's done, who she's shafting, who she's not shafting, whether... hang on, I need me a biscuit. Whether it's affected you today, because there's all remember I don't know whether you noticed, but they left all the sin taxes at the end. Sin taxes from people who commit, well, far more sin per capita than anybody else in the bloody country. She's got a cheek. She's got 2 of them. It's called an arse. I'm not talking about Stammer before you start. So, Gavin Davis is in. I'm looking forward to this one. Oh, Gavin. I'm on it tonight. And I must pay compliment to young Des Ashton, who's also in the body of the Kirk. He says, I'm claiming full house on budget bingo. We'll get to that in a second. All credit to Des, who was ticking the boxes, using his dibber dabber. Not jibber jabber, dibber. He had his dibber out this afternoon, seemingly, and he was playing budget bingo. And eyes down. Well, we'll have a look at that in a second. Cheers, Des. Welcome to the body of the Kirk, young sir. And young Terry Wookfit's in. Yeah. Should be fun given the shite Reeves spouted in the comments. She did that just a bit. It was like almost projectile vomiting shite. Meanwhile, all the attention being focused on the OBR fuck-up, or was it deliberate, takes the heat off the budget. Well, no flies on you, young Terry, is there? So you kind of go, this is not a slight on Terry. You can go both ways with this. You can either go OBR, trying to cover up the budget because it's shite, or you have Lammy putting out that there's going to be no juries for trials released yesterday when everybody's diverted and looking this way. You can't make this up, man. So, Terry, welcome to the body of the Kirk. And have to admit, though, Kemi produced a good performance today. She should have released her in a Nigerian more often. I know. I was like, who's this? Who's this that's turned up? I mean, 20 minutes of brilliance. She never gave up. I mean, will Kemi not good enough have the country on her side? But I agree with Terry. It was a hell of a performance. It was a better one from Kemi than it was from Rachel the Arse Reeves. Welcome to the body of the Kirk, Terry. Oh yeah, Des Ashton says I loved. Oh bloody hell. Let me just go right back to the top because there's loads of comments. Des says, I love the mansplaining digs and asking if she needed help. I think, wasn't Starmer saying something to her? And Kemi not good enough, just rounded on her. I mean, proper, mansplaining, misogyny, woman to woman. Honestly, just brilliant. Also came across with all the me and I that she has just public thrown herself fully into the leadership stakes. But yeah, there's also that going on in the background. There's number 10 saying, oi, yeah, wrong 'un. If you keep doing this, we're going to go to the country. And everybody's like, yeah, right then. Oh, no, 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 no. You're supposed to recoil in horror. You're supposed to go, no, 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 no. We'll do as we're told. But all the all the backbenchers are going, no, get rid of that moron. Get him at the front with a Malin streak. Get rid of him. And the Labour Party's going, no, 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 we can't do that. If we go to the country, we'll end up out of power forever, for another 100 years. Yeah, we got that. Absolutely, categorically got that. I'm just kind of mansplaining, whilst is that the same as manspreading? Isn't that when blokes have to open their legs? Maybe it's the smell, but they've got to open their legs as wide as possible so they can take up 3 seats. I know what mansplaining is. You're wronging before you say anything. Yeah, I know. I agree with Terry again. Good to see EV drivers. That's electric vehicle, just in case you're not keeping up with the with what's going on in the world. Good to see EV drivers getting a decent screwing. Well, they're all ecologists, aren't they? They're all, well, I'm going to save the planet. Well, bend over then, because she's just giving you damn good doing. Pence per mile. Pence per mile. My God. I mean, did you not see that for the last 2 weeks since the budget went into the OBR, that's the Office of Budget Responsibility, by the way, who have to look at it and go, yeah, that's accurate, that's accurate. Bloody hell, Rachel, how much? Oh, no, that's not accurate, man. Inflation's up. No, it's not. It's down. No, it's not. It's up. Oh, really? Well, inflation's just government spending. So that's why it's going up through the roof, because they're spending a shit ton of money on people who shouldn't be getting the money. You know who I'm talking about. Slackers. Madam Deputy Speaker, was I the only one to look at her going, are they letting school kids in now? I mean, I thought cockeyed Sunak was little, but she was like 13-year-old schoolgirl. She even had a school tie on. And I'm thinking, what's going on? I'm losing me mind. It's all just being bent over and Roger that's doing it, without the loop, obviously. So Madam Deputy Speaker would be better served if she wore a red tailcoat and a top hat. That's brilliant, Des. That's brilliant. Like you, I was looking, thinking, has she been let off school for the day? Did have to switch off after Badhead Knob sat down. I just could not bring myself to listen to our Ed leader of the Lemons, sorry, Lib Dems. Did he get up as well? At his age, probably a blue pill. Yeah, all that. Another Ozempic weight loss queen. Who's that then? Nuz. Oh, they're all at it, man, and on it. Oh, I nearly said something really, really inappropriate about a former politician who I remember watching him on the box one day, and he was grinding his teeth. And I'm thinking, MDMA, ecstasy, possibly. Les Griffiths in the body of the Kirk. Welcome, young Les. No one should be eligible for public office unless they pass an IQ test set at a national average IQ. They're all a stick of mince, man. They're all just, because all they're doing is they're concentrating on grifting money into their arse pocket, trouser pocket, that they can't concentrate on anything else. And when we get to 7:30, that's when we unleash the dogs. So welcome, you wrong'uns and collective. So I hope you've been entertained by what young Rachel, the landlady, has been saying today. Right, let's get to the bottom, because there's, I'm sure there's Comic Mania. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. Even and all, budge up your wrong'uns. And no manspreading, you see. Great minds think alike, Comic Mania. Stuart says, evening, Rev. Did you know Sister Mary's favourite planet is Uranus? I would never have guessed. Me neither, Stuart, but that's proper funny. Stop making me laugh. I'm trying to be serious, you wrong'un. Hang on, David Graham. This year marks the 50th anniversary of Christmas hits Il Dulce Jubilo from Mike Oldfield, and I believe Father Christmas from the late, great Greg Lake, both released 1975. Hang on a second. Wasn't Greg Lake, I believe in Father Christmas, based on Prokofiev. Lieutenant Kijé, the Sweet. Was it Prokofiev? No, but it was based on a classical piece of music, and it's fabulous. It's just fabulous. 1975, bloody 50 years, man. 50 years. I was around when that was released. Holy Jesus. Well, him as well, because it's his birthday, bless him. Emerson, Lake and Palmer, great musical duo. Oh, fabulous. Sir Andrew James. You make me want to listen to pictures of an exhibition. Nice. Right, let's get to the bottom. Not a first in Parliament. Stuart says, did you know Sister Mary loves Christmas? Well, the Jingle Balls part anyway. I have seen her fondling the balls on the Christmas tree. Balls of the Christmas tree. Because that's where they belong. She was just standing there stroking them. I said, Sister Mary, what are you thinking about? You're miles away. She said, oh, just the bishop's finger. Right, okay, Sister Mary. Madam Deputy Speaker only needed a red beret to look complete, says Lionel. But she did well. I quite fancy her. Oh, you're wrong. But, well, let's say she's 16. Makes it above board and legal in this country. But I still can't work out how she was out of school. Did she have a satchel behind the Speaker's chair? I'm going to say, I believe in Father Christmas based on the Troika by Prokofiev. Yeah, Sergei. I know. As a classically trained cellist, Terry, but thank you for the information. I played it many times as a classical trained cellist. Yes. Hang on, Stuart's traumatised. And Bonnie Galtieri, Adrian, is Starmer protecting Nick Brown? I think it's the old phrase, Paulie Galtieri, speak up, Brown, you're through. The Kirk will do a production of Aida for you on Christmas Eve. Steady, Sir Andrew James. I agree with you, Paulie. I will do a Nick Brown thing because it's timeless. I will do it because, and I will tell you exactly what it's about. Chief Whip disappearing, leaving politics. I wonder why. Oh, it might be the emergency operation to take somebody's, was it spleen? Is that who she is? 53-year-old. Jesus, somebody needs to put her feet in a bucket of shite or something now. They'll grow another foot and a half. Nuz, oh, that's why you were saying Nuz earlier, right? Okay, Terry. Nuz Garney. Garnish? Garney. 53. Looks like it. Well, we'll better leave it there because we'll go into inappropriate mansplaining and landscaping, and we might get into trouble knowing how we look. Evening, all you wrong'uns from Louis Hampson. Are we anywhere near? Oh, we're not far away from 7:30. So I will tell you that. Well, we've struggled in the body of the Kirk today. Poor Bishop. He's had it tight from Sister Mary. In fact, Sister Mary's been bashing the Bishop today. She's not happy with him for some unknown reason, so he's had it tight. Not only did someone nick his car, but the altar wine's gone up in price. King Rachel Reeves, altar wine. How are man? We're next to godliness, and you're putting wine up? Not at first. I bet she's never wined in her life. So Des Ashton claimed full house on budget bingo. I did say to watch, because who did she blame today? Brexit, the Tories, Reform. They are so paranoid about Reform and Farage. Oh, Farage, Russia, Trump. I am the first female chancellor. Love saying that. She's not going to be the second. And her attempts to speak in a lower register like Maggie did not work. Kemi Bad Enough is having an easy time really sticking the knife in. I think that Kemi Not Good Enough was more entertaining than Rachel Reeves. And Rachel Reeves was shafting everybody. Oh, that's some girl. Maybe she's the political equivalent to Bonnie Blue. So this evening, Adrian Allen's Theatre of the Mind, number 264. What we're going to talk about, well, the budget shafted, because you have been, or you just don't realise it yet. We're going to talk about Black Friday. Is that racist? We're going to talk about banning jury trials, judges ruling. Is this just to get AI to take over? And should we talk about, well, you know, the Americans don't like admitting that, well, the money's gone missing. Remember 9/11? That's why 9/11 happened. Oh, we've lost trillions. Yeah, $2 trillion. Don't know where it's gone. Trump's come out, and he said, oi, wrong uns, there's $350 billion gone missing. Is that how much a bag of Charlie costs in Ukraine? Marching powder, Sniffy the comedian. Oh, so they're talking about so many billions. 350 billion's gone missing. Well, I never. Trump's not hanging around, is he? Oh, he's infinite. Hang on a second. Les Griffith says, did Sister Mary try blowing up the bishop's car? She burnt her mouth on the exhaust pipe. Wasn't the exhaust pipe, Les. She was going too quickly. So, Rebel, he was said to be right arrogant, twit old Greg. Don't matter. Great music. Great muso. But I get it, so Rebel. And Madam Deputy Speaker, top hat, red tails, jodhpurs, riding boots. It takes a skilled circus ringmaster to control the clowns. Yeah, but we've got a ringmaster in the Prime Minister's office. Very quickly, legally defending myself there. So, shall we get to Rachel? Well, we need to. I've told you before. If in doubt, laugh. Just laugh at them because they're all fools. Laurel and Foolhardy. What a great headline for the newspapers tomorrow. I can't wait. Somebody's going to nick it. I can't wait. So you and I know Rachel Reeves delivered her budget like someone reading out a shopping list they clearly can't afford. And she kept saying the numbers add up. Well, yes, Rachel, they do add up. They add up to you having no idea where the money's coming from. Borrow. Look at Gordon, I'm a clown, Brown. Oh, alliteration station. He was the fool that sold off the gold at the bottom of the market. And now it's worth thousands more. Millions, the amount we sold off. Did he sell it to France by any chance? So Rachel Reeves, her economic vision. Imagine a calculator with the batteries dying. The screen flickers, few random digits appear, and then smoke. And Rachel Reeves, she promised growth. The only thing growing is the national sense of dread. Her budget is so thin, it should come with a calorie warning. Honestly, the most stable thing in the British economy right now is that nobody believes her. So tonight, Britain got a budget dressed up as compassion. I'll wait for the laughing to die down. But underneath the wrapping paper was a 26 billion tax raid that hits you. Not by what you pay today, but what they'll quietly take from you tomorrow. Out of your arse. Rachel Reeves stood in that dispatch box promising fairness, promising stability, promising a better deal for working people. Yet every bloody line of this budget pulls more of those same working people into the tax net. A stealth raid, a silent squeeze, no smoke, plenty of mirrors. So, let's decode it. Rachel Reeves didn't deliver a budget. She delivered a hostage note from the economy. Well, they call it a budget. But tonight, we're going to lift the veil. We're going to pull back the rug to see what's really hidden underneath. She's not a rug muncher, do you think? Seen the hairstyle. So, the key hits from the budget today. 26.1, and I'm going to try and make this as sexy as possible. Funny and sexy, because I'm bringing sexy back. Not just numbers, because numbers is just boring. But that's what they're hoping for. They're hoping that you won't pay attention to any of this. They are hoping that it's just going to be, oh no, and you'll just forget about it. Obviously, you'll be off down the pub. The U-Bottle says fuel surcharge goes up in 2026. I know, but they always delay it now. It's like the next spring, next financial year, next calendar year, next everything, next. But as I say, we'll go very quickly through the key hits, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer it. So we'll get straight in, nail them, and then look at the detail. So £26.1 billion in extra taxes. That's Reeves' own Treasury numbers. Frozen income tax threshold until 2031. Anybody for the term fiscal drag on steroids? Anyone? And then the pension salary sacrifice cap. the NI free allowance slashed to £2,000 per financial year. Do you not get it? That they don't remember you'll own nothing and be happy. You always have to keep that at the front of your head. So what they're going to make sure is that when you get to be a pensioner, if you already are, when you get to be a pensioner, they're going to make sure that your derriere is so sore from being rogered by these thieving bastards that you're not going to have anything. You won't have money. You'll have a pension of sorts that might just keep the wolves away from the door, but not during winter. They want you to die, 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 die. So dividends, savings, wealth, all taxed harder. Oh, they love it harder in the Labour Party, especially if it's a Ukrainian rent boy. Online parcels, what was that all about? Online parcels, imported goods now hit with customs duty. Oh, dear Lord, how do you think drug dealers are going to be able to run their business now? I can tell you some stories. So she said she was going to balance the books. Yeah, by removing all the bloody pages. So this is the kind of tax rise you bring in when you don't want headlines. They're not going to break their manifesto promises. Oh, no, 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 no. We did that because what they do is they feed, and they were briefing and leaking the mainstream media for 2 weeks. And then they want you to go, oh, bloody hell, bloody hell. And then it doesn't come and you go, oh, they're nice people, really nice people. They didn't break their manifesto promise. No, bend over. You're getting it whether you like it or not. So this is what they do when they don't want headlines, but you want obedience. Now, no minister says that the rates are rising. They just freeze the thresholds and let inflation take care of the rest. Because remember, inflation is just government spending. So they're wanting inflation to go up, thresholds stay as they are, and every pay rise you get, oh, they take a slice. And that's why I would suggest to you that this is the most dishonest form of taxation, because it doesn't announce itself. It just quietly appears in your payslip and or your pension or everything else, whether it's VAT or any kind of tax. So you get taxed on the money that you earn, and then they tax you again on that money because you're spending it elsewhere. And then the money that you're spending elsewhere, they'll tax it again. And then they'll tell you, smiling to you, we're not going to rob you much. So Reeves promised transparency. And to be fair, I've never seen a budget that looks so see-through. So first question of the night. Do you feel lied to? Because I do. Do you feel lied to? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. Do you feel lied to by the Labour government and this budget? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know, blimey. Every single person is saying 1. Lying toe rags. Garen Davis, William Commons, Peter Rees-Jones, got so many. Yeah, 3 from the Wookfit. He said they tried to, but it's easy to see through them. Everybody else, 1. So if you still haven't voted, do you feel lied to? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. But let's peel away some of the onion layers. So Robert Reeves, Rachel the Landlady, announced a 26 billion tax and spend reset. Remember, Klaus? The Great Reset. You'll own nothing and be happy. Especially if you're a Fabian Society member. Especially if you're the Chinese Communist Party. And this Sunday, I'm actually going to give you my take on the world over the next 14 months. I'm going to decode it all, and I'm going to give it to you straight. Now, I'm going to get my kahunas out. I'm going to get them on the table, me hairy sphericals, and I'm going to say to you, this is how I am decoding the whole of everything. Sunday, live, 7:15, here. So be there, because I'm going to make your hair curl. Chinese Communist Party, tell you how Sunday. Anyway, Rachel Reeves promised to cut bills. Child poverty. Oh, man, the most evil man, or one of them, the most evil men in the world, Tony Blair. We're going to stop child poverty. Who's Tony? Oh, well, you weren't rounding them up for Hillary, were you? But I would suggest that Robert Reeves has dragged millions more into the tax net. So 26 billion, more taxes, frozen thresholds, but cheapen energy bills. They said we were going to save 300 quid. Now, don't be silly, 150. But we'll get to that in just a second. So this budget today, who wins, who pays? I'm going to tell you. This was the second budget under Rachel Reeves, set against slow growth, high inflation, and cost of living pain. So we'll run through what this means for you and me. If I've got to buy the altar wine, Jesus, he's not going to give me any money. He can't. He's still trying to find daddy's slippers. And I'm going to ask you what you think about absolutely everything. So the big picture. What has she actually done? Let's take an overall stance, a 35,000 feet overview of exactly what's happened. So again, the budget raises around £26.1 billion per year in extra taxes by 2029-2030, on top of the earlier increases under Labour last year. Now, I did say to you, you need to keep your eye on Starmer offering Ursula von der Leyen 7 kids. Biatch. He offered her 50 billion. So where are they going to get that from? Oh, don't worry. Rachel's going to tax you for that. So there's 50 billion in monies that you're having to pay the government, and they're going to give it away to Europe because Europe are not interested in you. They just want the moolah. They want to launder it in Ukraine so it comes back into their trouser pocket. They're all getting corrupt, man. So Reeves keeps Labour's manifesto line. No rises in the main rates of income tax, national insurance, VAT, or corporation tax. Instead, she goes hard on thresholds. Hard on thresholds. Property, pensions, and unearned income. Oh, heaven forbid you've got a YouTube channel. There's also unearned income from dividends, wealth, gambling. Well, that's a Tory party shafted then. So this 26.1 billion pounds extra in taxes per year by 2029-2030. They've frozen the income tax threshold until 2031. I mean, the bankers, the merchant bankers, because she's definitely a merchant banker, to Anne's Reeves, I've heard. Fiscal drag. Fiscal drag? Is that like money dressed up with a curly wig and lipstick? Fiscal drag, even without the rate rises, is estimated to raise 7.6 billion pounds. And all of these can be corroborated by online websites, facts and figures, because I've done my research. So let's talk about the salary sacrifice pension cap. So, you know, if you're grafting, trying to put food on the table, and you're just thinking, right, I've got another, 30, 20, 10 years to go, and I want to put as much as I can into my pension so I can have maybe, when I finish at 67, 68, 69, well, you'll definitely finish at 69, then I've got a few bob in the bank account that can look after me for maybe 10, 15 years, depending on how long I live. That salary sacrifice that you will be agreeing with the people that you work for, from April 2029, so it's only 3 years away, the first £2,000 is exempt from national insurance. And it hits anyone saving via a workplace pension. You will own nothing and be happy. The Great Reset. It's already here. So there's new taxes on dividends, savings, unearned income, and wealth, including property. So there's a raise for the lowest paid. Bless them. I have no empathy or sympathy. This is a man that started working at 13, paid into the system, paper rounds, grafting from 13-year-old. And then at the point where I need the state to help me out, I get told a Foxtrot Oscar. Your wife's earning more than 16 grand a year. What do you mean? I've paid into the system for 50 years, you bastards. And you're saying I can't have a penny? Correct. So I have no empathy or compassion for fuck all when people are just going, how much can you give me? Oh, I've just come across on the boat. How much can you give me? How much can you give me? I get fuck all. Generations I've been in this country. My family, fuck all. So in the words of the great Chinese philosopher, the whole lot of them, that's the government, the corrupt. So the lowest paid? Oh, there's an increase in the national living wage. Minimum wage from April 2026. Isn't that lovely? How we can support other people and just give them the taxes when the people that have put into the system can't have a fucking penny. So that's for the over 23s. Can you imagine 23-year-old? Young, dumb and full of cum. They know absolutely fuck all about life. And there's younger age bands. Younger age bands, they should be in education. They should be working out what they want to do. They should take those 3 or 4 years from 16 to 2021, absolutely categorically working out their direction of travel. Do they? No. No. Recreational gear and alcohol. The pension triple lock. So there's the young uns. What about the old uns? Pension triple lock, honoured. State pensions in April, obviously it's the next financial year, up by 4.8%. Oh. But that seems like a win for the pensioners on face value. We need some nuance here, don't we? Seems generous. But with the frozen thresholds and stealth taxes, will you actually be better off or just paying more elsewhere? We'll get to that in a second. Because you're allowed 12,750 before you pay any tax in this country. So if the pensioners maybe have a private pension or if the state pension goes above 12,750, they start paying tax. That's what they're after. 4.8%. They're already at the threshold, which is staying where it is. So the 4.8% might just tip them over. Tip. This is the government's pension for you. So I'm going to ask. Terry said this, and I did want to make this point. Terry says, and they will remind people of all the giveaways from the budget when it comes to voting next year in local elections. Great minds think alike, Terry. Because I was thinking, was it 800 and odd million to Scotland? I thought, oh, that's a bribe. And then all the money they're giving to Wales. And I thought, oh, that's a fucking bribe. Because they want the Red Wall, the Labour, to beat SNP in Scotland. And Wales seemingly is quite red. So they want them. And who else in England are they buying off? Oh, we'll get to that. But I'm going to ask you a question. Is this a stealth raid on the working and middle class? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. Is this a stealth raid on the working and middle class? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know, Rev. I don't know. Because there's another question coming fairly shortly afterwards. Phil the Van's unsure. Absolutely everybody else is saying 1. I'm with you, Terry. Everybody's saying 1. Tom Harness is a little unsure. Okay. Les Griffiths says no. So I'm going to ask a little addendum to that question. Is this what's happened today and the nuances and subtleties, which I am going to work through this evening, and I'm going to try and get this done by 9. Was today's budget a fair shake to make the rich pay more before they obviously leave the country? Everybody believes, the majority, I would say about 98%, believe it's a stealth raid on the working and middle class. But is it a fair shake to make the rich pay more? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. And we're going to get to the OBR, the Office of Budget Responsibility, in a second, because, you know, do you know what you didn't mention? And congratulations to Des on Budget Bingo. Do you know what you didn't mention? A 22 billion black hole. Or the 50 billion black hole. So evidently, they don't exist. So Barry Wright saying no. Comic Mania saying I'm not sure. Same as Lewis. View Bovril 1.5. Lin Yu 52. No. William Commons. Yes. Lionel. I don't know. Albert Medcalf is saying no. So it's interesting. And as I keep saying, and I'm kind of blowing smoke up your backside, but I do believe I've got one of the most intelligent audiences, if not the most intelligent audience on YouTube, because you're on it, like carb on it. So let's look at the OBR, the Office for Budget Responsibilities forecast. So thank you for all your votes so far. Phil Levan says they over doubled that in the first year. Correct. Comic Mania, trillions of pounds of national debt still exists. And they're borrowing more money. So they couldn't organise a open a brewery. Mind you, David Lammy could bring all the snacks. Did you see the state of the back of the taxi he was in with his missus? Jesus H. Can you imagine David Lammy and his wife? No, I can't. I don't intend to. Eating all of those snacks. Maybe he brought enough back for the whole of the Labour Party and felt a bit peckish. So the OBR's forecast, oops, was accidentally published online before the speech. I think it was about 11:55. Was it ish? They apologised. Oops. So it wasn't meant to be. And we're sorry. Leaked it all. And those that saw it went, oh Jesus, Rachel's going to get it. Not from her husband. She'd be too tired. So that was leaked just before the big speech, size queen. So her, Rachel, the landlady, her big day, she's the first female chancellor. She won't be the first leader of the Labour Party. That's for shit sure. So forgive me. I get a bit rattled and me potty mouth it's got a life of its own, to be fair. So her big day, size queen, started with an OBR leak. Office of Budget Responsibility. Oh dear, how sad. Never mind. But do you want the key stealth move? Income tax and national insurance thresholds are frozen out until 2030, 2031, but not rising with wages. You see, that's the classic fiscal drag. Each pay rise quietly pulls more people into paying tax and into higher bands. And did you notice every time she goes, and we're going to protect the NHS, we're going to spunk money left, right and centre, and we're just going to chuck billions at the NHS. Can we not have a Doge, please? A Department of Government Efficiency. Can we not have a Doge in this country? Because every single political party, every single budget says we're going to give more to the NHS. So who is making the profit from the NHS, which is not profit driven and it is not a business for profit? It's there to care. Bugger me, I'm a poet. So, shall we get into the cost of living? Okay. So, this cost of living help. What do households actually get? So, you're going to get 150 quid off your energy bills. Lying toads. They said, we're going to save you 300 quid. Ed Millipede, man, in ukulele. I'm leaning on it's a windmill, actually. I'm leaning on a windmill on the corner of the street, watching all the taxpayers' money go by. 150 quid off energy bills. Lying toad, he said 300. Oh, but if you're a commuter down south in London and in the south coast, and you're paying through the nose for the French rail companies that are making a shit ton of profit out of us, yeah, we're Treasure Island, the rail fare freeze. And then, they're keeping prescriptions under a tenner. You're too kind, sir. Any more gruel, sir? Any more gruel? If you know, you know. Fuel duty, extended, frozen. Fuel duty? So we're not going to drill in the North Sea to make money from oil and gas, and you're going to freeze fuel duty. Well, you're freezing that, but the electric cars are. The electric car owner, they're thinking they're doing their bit for the world, for the environment. It's all bollocks. And then there's the national living wage rise. Oh, and the state pension's up 4.8%, as I've just said. This is classic Treasury theatre. Throw a few treats into the crowd. It's like a pantomime. It is a pantomime. You know when you go to the pantomime and all the kids at the front get their biscuits and treats and sweets and stuff chucked at them. And I always was sat at the back. But that's why I'm bitter. It is. That's why I'm a sinning old tart. I never got to the front for the sweets at the panto. But now that the politicians are doing it, they'll throw a few treats into the crowd whilst they slip your hands into their hands into everyone's pockets. I told you, I cut holes in mine, because if she puts her hands in my pockets, she's going to get a bigger surprise than me. Size queen. So 150 quid energy bill cut. Oh, fantastic. Until you realise the threshold freezes, higher NI on pensions, national insurance on pensions, increased alcohol duties, and dividend hikes will swallow that whole. I've told you before, front bench of the Labour Party, they swallow. And that's why this budget is a trap. Take it from me, this cynical old tart, and a few cynical old tarts in the comments, judging by what they're saying. It just gives you tiny, visible wins to distract you from the big, invisible losses. Okay. 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. Is this genuine help? I've given you the kind of headlines, the cost of living. Is this help or just a distraction? Is it the panto where the kids at the front get all the sweets? And you're at the back with your mum and dad going, I've got any sweets? Is this help or is it just theatre, distraction? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. Because I'm sure it's going to be kind of a mixed audience. Louise Hampson, no. Matthew Whedon, no. Neil Bovril, yes. The Walk Fit, he hasn't actually said. Barry White, no. Debbie Williams, yeah, people are saying no to is this help. Political theatre, says Vix Tex, of which I concur. BD Cool, yeah. Martine Cat, 2. Neil Bovril wants a distraction. It's Bad Wolf Project, very good. It's theatre of the mind. Do you know, if only I was smart enough. It's a circus. Roll up, says I see you. And it is, a lot of people are saying no. The Umarian meme, good to see you back in the body of the Kirk, the Umarian meme. We went from 17.5% to 20% in 2011. That 2.5% is an extra week's work in tax since 2011. What more tax do these thieves deserve? They just want to nick it. They've just got that in the trough and they're trying to launder it in Ukraine as quick as they can go. But the Donald, he's on it. $350 billion has gone missing. Well, we know 100 million went into President Shitty trousers, brown trousers, Biden. Bloody hell, I'm talking so much, my hibiscus is going cold. Stuart says it's political theatre. Stephen Hall says the clowns are running the circus. I think the tail's wagging the dog, to be fair. So let's look at energy and bills. Because if you look at I'm just pulling these off the top of my head. If you look at the average household in this country paying £2,500 for their energy, that's gas and electric. Germany, about 500 quid. France, about 4,500, seemingly. Whether they're accurate or not, I don't know. But now we're getting an average 150 quid cut to household energy bills from next year. Bless him. Thank you. More gruel, sir. They're going to, but what they're doing is they're shifting some green levies off some of the bills and onto general taxation. So the cost to the Treasury is about £2.3 billion. Left hand, right hand. Left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, but Rachel Reeves knows exactly where her black hole is. Terry says it's more pantomime than theatre. If it's theatre, it's pretty shit performance. That's very good. So let's look at sort of transport, because the rail fares. Oh, when was the last time you were on the train? Rail fares are going to be frozen in this weather, and health costs. So the rail fares have been frozen. Reports say for the first time in about 30 years, give or take, saving some commuters about £300 a year on the priciest routes. Now, hang on a second. So they've frozen them. They've not gone up. How can you save 300 quid a year? What did they think they were going to go up to? I mean, I know some people for an annual ticket costs about 5-6 grand on some routes and journeys. And the NHS prescription charges frozen and kept under a tenner. See how they like the headlines? Under a tenner. Including freezing the 3-month and annual prepayment certificates. And the NHS and services. You've got Rachel Reeves, and any chancellor, they always go, we're going to give more money to the NHS. We've got the local elections coming up very soon. By the time we turn around, it's going to be Christmas. By the time we turn around, it's the end of January, and then the lighter nights start. So by the time we get into February, we're looking at May for the local elections. And, well, we're not far away from the local elections, and that's why we're bribing everyone. Everyone, Scotland, Wales, you, everyone. Well, you think you're being bribed. You're not getting anything out of that. Don't be silly. They're not going to give you any money. No, they want you dead. Don't be silly. It's a great reset. The more we kill, brilliant. More for us. That's the politicians. So the NHS and services. Reeves always leans heavily on the NHS. Government material points to 5.2 million extra appointments. What the does that mean? Is that the million boat people that have come across there getting all the new extra appointments? Because when I ring my doctor's surgery, it's all, we can't get you anything until next week. I thought you had all these extra appointments. And I never see the same doctor twice. Oh, hello, are you a new one? What do you mean? Well, I didn't see you the last 20 times I came in, so where are you from? Are you from up north? Me as well. Interloper. So these 5.2 million extra appointments delivered since Parliament began, that's like a year gone July. And there's a plan for 250 new neighbourhood health centres. Who's paying for them? You! So I'm going to ask you a straight question, because I want tonight to be very interactive, so I can look at the comments tomorrow and see where you are, the kind of zeitgeist. Does 150 quid off your energy bill and frozen rail fares feel real? That's the one. Or is it swallowed up by everything else going up too? Or it's a bit late in the day, and I've had too much to drink. I don't know. Yeah, everybody thinks it's all going to be swallowed up. I told you the front benches in the Labour Party, they all swallow. Including Starmer. Everybody saying no. Okay. Thank you for all of that. Energy prices will go up, as will other expenses, I'm sure, Terry. But I know that from when I lived in Edinburgh, I was talking to a guy from, I I can never remember the power station just on the A1 as you're going into Edinburgh. And they buy their energy 2 years ahead. So they're not telling us something. The Umerian meme. Labour's math is more about painting themselves as moralists than it is about math. That's why their maths ain't mathin', and it never will. I'm with the Umerian meme. 2 and 2 is 11. So I'm going to ask you another question. Thank you for all your comments and your votes so far. I'm going to ask you another question. Would you rather bill cuts like this, the 150 quid off your energy bill, or see the money go straight into reducing debt and taxes instead? So straight. One for bill cuts like this, or 2, see the money go straight into reducing debt and taxes instead. Do you want 150 quid off your energy bill, or do you want debts and taxes going down? Hang on, what's Andrew James said? Everybody's saying the second option. Rather see the money go straight into reducing debt and taxes instead. Country before self, as the politicians say. So should we get into... Thank you for that. Torn S. Thank you, Terry. Yes, it was Torn S. I was speaking to a guy, admittedly, we were both a bit shitted, but he was saying, yeah, we buy our energy 2 years ahead. And they were talking about... power stations today. Nuclear power stations. Can you remember the Japanese power stations going boom? And the fish off the West American coast floating up going, oh, I say, they're glowing in the dark. No, they don't talk about that because nuclear power stations makes a shit ton of money. Who for? Dennis Thatcher, so I'm told. So let's talk about welfare. Poverty, because they're going to take all the kids out of poverty. Leave the parents there, but they're going to take all the kids out of poverty. And the 2-child cap. I know you've been waiting for this one all night. So the 2-child cap. Is this morality versus maths? But remember, when they're sort of wringing their hands at the dispatch box, compassion costs money. Your money. So here are the key facts. So what they're going to do, the 2-child limit on benefits, gone. Foxtrot Oscar, scrapped. It's going to cost £3 billion a year by 2029, 2030. That's about the same amount that we're paying Ukraine every year to, probably on marching powder. The government claims 450,000 children will be lifted out of poverty. There's over 1 million of them go missing every year. Where do they go? Hillary, what? Can't see my lips move. Now, I'll be really honest with you and say that this, scrapping the 2-child cap, is a huge social policy shift, and it's not cheap. The intention might be noble, but the funding comes from the same people already caught in the frozen tax trap. Einstein doesn't have to work this out. And we all know which communities have the most kids. This is from a man whose mum had 8 brothers and sisters and his dad had 8 brothers and sisters. But now in 2025, most people can't afford to have kids. Well, they can now because they'll start knocking football teams out and getting 20, 30, 40 grand a year in benefits. Oh, just hand-me-downs. We've all been through that, hand-me-downs, and is there going to be a meal on the table for us? We've all been there. But my mum and dad only had a couple of kids, couldn't afford any more. But those slackers on benefits, whoa, here, Ethel, come here. I'm going to knock another kid out. And Ursula von der Leyen, bitch, you mucky mare, come here. I'm going to do you 7 times. Can you imagine all the benefits we're going to get for nout? Cheeky bastards. So here's the question that the government won't answer. Is it fair that childless workers, single adults, renters, pensioners, low-paid employees shoulder this cost, while the slackers are pulling their head off it, watching, which used to be Jeremy Kyle. Used to be Kilroy Silk in my day. So I'll say this again. Childless workers, single adults, renters, pensioners and low-paid employees shoulder the cost whilst receiving nothing in return. I've told you this budget was about shafting you. And you can't call it compassionate when it's funded by stealth. So I'm going to ask you a kind of tricky question. 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. Is this fairness or redistribution without consent? Is this fairness or redistribution without consent? Fairness 1, redistribution without consent 2, 3. I don't know. It's the G&Ts are kicking in now. Fill the van, the time, the place. Everybody believes it's redistribution without consent. I think Louise Hampson's had too many G&Ts. 33, vertebrae. Everybody's saying. So Reg D, Sir Andrew James, Martine, Carl Warby, Stuart Gribbo, Lewis, Robert Norman, all 2. But Terry Wookfit says, we do receive something in return, knowing we are helping our fellow man get a new flat screen TV. It won't get spent on the kids, will it? No. It'll be off down to buy a bag of weed. So the 2-child limit in universal credit and tax credits is being scrapped from next April, the end of this financial year. There was huge pressure from the Labour MPs and anti-poverty groups who wanted to buy votes. Oh, sorry. They wanted to bribe the electorate. Oh, sorry. I didn't. Cynical old tart, Adrian. So the government, the Department of Work and Pensions estimates suggest about 450 kids. I mean, are they just moving them around now? 450,000 children will be lifted out of poverty when the cap goes. And then all the kids that they're going to knock out. They're just going to treat this as a career so that they do go off their tits on gear all day. 450,000 people, children, that will be a mere bagatelle. Give it a few years when they start knocking out another 3, 4 or 5, blimey. It'll be a new kid every year. New kids on the block every 9 months. It's not cheap. 3 billion a year, as I've told you. But the supporters will say, oh, it's ending a cruel cap that punished children for how many siblings they have. Me, the cynical old tart, and I wonder if you're in the same frame, rewarding larger families while everybody else is hammered by tax rises. Have you noticed it never affects the politicians? Ever. They're just ordering rent boys for Portcullis House. So, to the cynical old tarts in the comments, 1, is scrapping the 2-child cap an act of decency? 2, or is it an unaffordable bribe? I'm going 2. Is scrapping the 2-child cap an act of decency, or 1, or 2, an unaffordable bribe? And I'm going to ask you a follow-up. Oh, yeah, everybody. Cynical old tarts. I'm so glad I'm with like-minded. Sandra James, bob on. Louise Hampson, bribe, bob on. Those families that the country needs extra kids from won't be affected by raising the benefits. Everybody's saying 2. So let me ask you this question. If you don't get a penny from the welfare system, and we're not allowed to, because if your partner, live-in partner, wife, husband earns more than 16 grand a year, you can foxtrot Oscar. Maybe I should move to Liverpool. So I'm going to ask you a question. How do you feel about £3 billion of your taxes, your money, not the government's, because it's not theirs to give away? How do you feel about £3 billion going here whilst thresholds are frozen for you? How do you feel about that money going for extra kids, taking away the cap? Les Griffith says, answer me this. What's worse, a single mother claiming benefits or politicians raping the expenses system? If it's seen as a career move, both. 3 wives and 19 kids, me. So I'll just be fine, thanks. Said that. Comic Mania. Oh, can you imagine the hassle? And the smell of shitty nappies. The Bad Wolf Project at Amalia. 2 mobility cars, 4 lots of carers allowance, rent and council tax paid. If you remember TV programme Bread, they are all Boswells. They go to Florida 3 times a year. Oh, I remember the Boswells. I mean, it's a great TV programme, but it kind of tarred the Scousers with a particular brush. Les Griffiths, perhaps we should be raging about the billions handed out to foreign countries. I'm with you, Les. I do every single live. I say, what about the money that goes to Ukraine? What about, if it's going out to Israel or any other country that we seem to? And to be fair, Israel does bribe a load of politicians in this country. Oh, by the way, Netanyahu, not around for much longer. Oh, what do you mean by that, Adrian, Rev? What you saying? I'm not saying anything. I'm just, you can't see my lips move. Because when it does come, whoa, you can't see my lips move. Because the shit's going to hit the fan. Just saying. Just randomly saying. Hang on, Lionel. Car parking wars. Don't get me started on pit mobility cars. Oh, Rich. I mean, they're driving about in Rolls Royces. Because it's making somebody money. Follow the money, the Benjamins, the Moolah, the Reddies, the Greenbacks. Just follow the money. Back to Netanyahu again. I'm telling you, because I will refer you to this. In 6 months or 9 months' time, I will refer you to this. Netanyahu. Oops. So, should we get to those that are being shafted left, right and centre? I mean, I was reading in the newspapers yesterday. I have to tell you this, because there's not many things that shock me. But there was a couple of pensioners in, it was one of the magazines that I normally just wipe my backside with. But it was 2 76-year-olds. They're still having sex twice a week. And I was like, do they not, have they popped hips? Have they can they get up after? I mean, 76-year-old. And they're having sex twice a week. That's my annual quota. I'm joking before you start. So, pensions and the elderly. So, the savers, possibly me and you, I haven't got a pot to pee in, to be fair. Homeowners and pensioners, they're the hidden targets of all of this. So, we'll scrap the cap and give all these families that have got 20 million kids, we'll give them just more money. But if you've saved, planned, or invested, this budget has you in the crosshairs. So let's look at the key hits for pensions and older people. And we're 2/3 of the way through now. The ISA allowance, I don't know whether you have an ISA and whether you save, but the allowance is being cut from 20 grand to 12. Nice. Mansion tax on homes worth 2 million plus. Where I'm from, you could buy the whole bloody estate for 2 million. There's a pension salary sacrifice, national insurance cap. I told you about that a little earlier. That punishes responsible savers. And dividend and investment taxes rise. So, look, this government isn't taxing waste or excess. It's taxing stability, in my view. So that's why we need a Doge. We need to know what they're spending it on, and who is thieving it and putting it in their trouser pocket. Politicians mainly, and local councillors. Oi, 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 oi. I want to know. I want a Doge The minute any political party gets in, they'll do exactly, well, hopefully it'll be reform. And hopefully they'll do exactly the same as Elon Musk in America. That's why America was squealing. That's why the politicians hate Trump, because he was squeezing them. They can't get any more money via Ukraine and other places. USAID, United States Agency for International Development. You've got Israel. Oh, how much money do you want? We'll bribe you, we'll bribe you, we'll bribe you. Just ask Jeffrey Epstein and the Queen. Oh, Reverend, you can't say that. You can. So look, people who saved, who invested, who planned ahead, the very backbone of a functional society, are the ones being punished. The message is clear now. You will own nothing and be happy. So what they've got to do is they've got to have you in poverty, not save, not look after yourself in your dotage. They're going to make sure that you can't save. So the message is clear. Don't save. Don't invest. Spend more today so the government can tax you tomorrow. I mean, it brings to mind a very easy and simple question. Are savers and pensioners now seen as easy targets? Well, not if they're having sex twice a week, they're not. I mean, look at the state pension. It's a good news headline. Oh, we're keeping the triple lock in place. Yes, we love the pensioners. We'll shaft them all the time, twice a week. We'll shaft them all the time. But hey, you know, pensioners, we love them. So if you're a pensioner, your government loves you. Go back to sleep. Your government loves you. And if you wake up with a sore derriere in the morning, you know who that's been. Triple lock honoured. The new state pension up 4.8% from April. Gives full new state pension retirees roughly an extra £11 to £12 per week. Don't spend it all at once, and you can't buy a bag of weed for that, so don't on recreational gear, you tart. But more pensioners are being dragged into tax because personal allowances are frozen. Thresholds don't move. More pensioners will be paying income tax on their state pension. As I've said to you, taxing at 20% starts at $12,750. The state pension is almost at that now. So more pensioners will be paying income tax on state pension, private pensions in the second half of this decade, 26 to 2030. Pensioner groups are already saying, oh man, no, we're not getting it twice a week. So don't be doing to us what those two are doing to each other. 76-year-old, Jesus, what they on? They're saying the fiscal freeze will keep squeezing pensions until 2031. So there's going to be a pension salary sacrifice clampdown. Oi, 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 oi. And from April 2029, only the first $2,000 a year of pension contributions via salary sacrifice will be exempt from national insurance. So they're not going to tax it, but they are going to tax it. It just looks like they're not going to tax it, but they are going to tax it. National insurance is going to go up on your pension and your contributions. Because basically you put your contributions in, your employer tops it up, but you don't pay tax on it until you draw down when you got your pension. But they're going to nail you with national insurance. Oh, lovely. Can I bend over the desk? So it's going to raise billions from higher earners and generous workplace schemes. So if you're a pensioner, I want to know in the comments, please, are you grateful for the triple lock rise? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for not sure, don't know. Are you grateful for the triple lock rise if that applies to you? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Labour, a group of multimillionaires telling you that your problems are caused by other multimillionaires. Correct. Des, you've been paying attention. Phil the Van, what's up with Tice picking on autistic kids? Everybody's autistic. Everybody's on the scale. Sorry, spectrum. Call it spectrum now. Back to Captain Scarlet. Ding, 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 ding. So we've only got 2 more categories to go. And I was going to do Lammy, because that's really important. But we'll see how we go. I want to finish by 9. So work, wages and business looks like it's going to be higher wages, higher pension contributions, lower incentives. So the key hits for work, wages and business: small businesses, the silent casualties. Minimum wage up, good for workers, I suppose, but businesses take the hit. Pension changes add cost pressure. Customs duties on imports hit small online sellers. That's what I said to you right at the beginning of this. Anything coming in, it's going to be taxed. So wealth and dividend taxes make investment less attractive. So the budget will kill more small businesses than inflation ever did or has. You can't raise wage floors, raise pension costs, raise import duties, and raise investment taxes, then pretend you're helping growth. That's what Starmer does with... No, Adrian, stop there. This is a budget designed by people who've never signed the front of a paycheck. So roughly 50p an hour raise for the over 23s for the national living wage. It's going up by about 4.1% from April next year. 50p an hour. Younger age bands also see some above inflation rises. But the example used by employment analysts, someone on a standard full-time week sees £1,000 more pay a year. But employers also face higher wage and pension contribution costs. So if you balance that with some goodies, business rates help for certain sectors, extension of the EIS and VCT tax relief schemes to encourage investment in growing firms. But there are some pains. Customs duty on all imported parcels, which means online shopping, especially coming up to Christmas. There's only 3 Sundays left before Christmas. So online shopping and small import-based businesses. Higher wage floor. There's the employer pension contributions and the broader tax burdens. So let's wrap this up nicely in a bow. Who actually pays? Homes, wealth, electric vehicle drivers, drinkers and gamblers, property and wealth. There's the new mansion tax on homes worth over £2 million. Aye, that'll affect them. They won't like that. But all they'll do is they'll just put it in a blind trust or something so nobody can touch it. They can't tax it. They'll find a way. There's a way for the super rich, and then there's me and you. Bend over. So an annual charge expected to raise about, that's the mansion tax. It's expected to raise around 400 million a year. Dividend tax, that's going to rise by 2 percentage points, hitting people who earn income from shares and company profits. It's going to be a clampdown on pension tax breaks. That's aimed squarely at the high earners, and also very generous company schemes, which will affect the politicians. But we'll get to the lifestyle and sin taxes. So gambling duties are up. Well, the horse racing is fine, though, because she did say, I'm not going to tax horse racing. But that's going to, gambling duties is going to raise about £1.1 billion a year. Bloody hell. How much do people gamble in this country? Is it an epidemic or something? Oh, I learned many years ago, there's only the bookies always win. The alcohol duties have increased again. I'm really sorry, but I might have to cut back on maybe a bottle a week on the altar wine, because you're drinking far too much. And the fact that alcohol duties have increased again, bloody hell, the bishop's going to have to sober up. And they've even put a sugar tax on milkshakes and other high sugar drinks. That's not going to stop them. And cars and electric vehicles. Sorry, forgive me for laughing. So there's going to be new mileage-based road tax for electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles. coming into effect in 2026. So effectively, the replacement for lost fuel duty as cars go electric. So as the fuel duty goes from the diesel and the petrol cars, they've got to recoup it some way. Oh, yeah, Leggy, yeah, we'll do that. Oh, are they buying cars? They don't want to crash them because the insurance is going to be through the roof. And if you think that insurance companies want to make a profit, the reason why expensive electric cars, are difficult to get insurance for is once you crash them, the battery is probably as expensive as the whole luxury car. Green groups are warning that combined with axing some energy efficiency schemes, it's sending mixed signals. So I'm going to ask you a question. You're probably a driver and you probably look after your motor and, maybe grafted hard to have a nice motor at the car. But should electric vehicle drivers pay a road tax like everybody else? Or does this kill the incentive to go green? Should EV drivers pay a road tax like everybody else? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. Stephen Hall says there's always gambling ads on TV. If there is a tax on milkshakes, will McDonald's finally fix the milkshake machine? It's Andrew James, it's the ice cream machine. Every time you go into McDonald's, it's like, oh, the ice cream machine's not working. 1. Should EV drivers pay a road tax like everybody else? Absolutely. Ray Norton, Lister, Reg D, Catwoman Jones, Gribbo, Napoleon Blown Apart. Welcome, sir. Nathan Diamonds, everybody saying yes, 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 yes. And Rich says, yeah, they're ruining the road as they are heavy. It's the batteries. Oh, Comic Mania, milk floaters make me sick. Everybody saying that EVs cause just as much wear on the road. Yeah, talking about potholes. So I think today I would suggest very strongly that the moment the OBR, the Office for Budget Responsibility, accidentally published the forecast before the speech, the illusion completely shattered. No suspense, no drama, just numbers staring back at you saying, we're taking more from you. And let's not forget the election promises. No tax rises for working people. Yet, here they are. Stealth taxes, frozen thresholds, new duties, new levies. This is not governance. This is sleight of hand. So I'm going to ask you another very, very, very important question. 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. Has this government already lost your trust? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. Has this government already lost your trust? Elliot, Comic Mania, Gribbo, the Bovril, Nicky Watson, all saying yes, 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 yes. Mind you, Gribbo says, I've never trusted them. I think you're in the larger part of the body of the Kirk with that one. Tom Harney's, I never had it. What are your age, Tom? Ashton Photography, Des, I never had it. So it looks like everyone is of a like mind. We're a hive mind in the body of the Kirk tonight. We didn't trust them, never had it. Now we need to look at debt and headroom. BD Cool says, I've got more trust in the paper bridge. Brilliant. Newty Brown says, bottle of the dog. These EV quick charging stations, all they're doing is shortening the life of the battery pack. Same with quick charging your phone. Ooh. I wouldn't trust them to run my bath, says Comic Mania. And Reg D is very honest. He says, they had my trust. Not now. Phil Levan says, where can I watch the budget after this? I think it is on iPlayer, Phil. I think it is. And if you can find it, if you go to my my X, Thank you, Stuart. Thank you for your continued support, Young. So really appreciate it. Thank you, Aid, for your budget deep dive. Phil Levan, if you go to my ex, which is at Adrian Allen, I reposted the Kemi Badenoch. I mean, it was brutal. If it had been a fight, it would have been stopped. I mean, it was like a cat fight. Kemi Badenoch, I don't know what she was on, maybe strong coffee or something, but she was like, I'm having it. You calling me fat? Right, yo, I'm having you. It was brilliant to watch. I mean, it was very entertaining. So, Phil Levan, if you want to see Kemi Badenoch, go to my X account at Adrian Allen, and I think the BBC will keep Rachel Reeves' budget on there for a while. How long was she going for? As in the budget, not a black hole. So whilst you're doing that, and I think that's I can't work out who that is because it doesn't tell me. Hang on a second. I might have to. Somebody's very kindly showing me their support, and I can't find out who it is. Bagger. Can I do that? Ah, yes. So there's me. Thank you. I can't read your name, but thank you. Ray Norton says Kemi was on fire. Oh, I agree. So Rachel Reeves will be on the BBC, bound to be, considering what they're up to, and Kemi was on fire. That's why I've reposted it on 20 minutes. But it's just the most entertaining, fantastic 20 minutes. Thank you to everyone who's shown their support so far this evening. I really do appreciate it, always. So I want to talk about the national debt, because the figures that I heard, it's about 86% of GDP, which is the gross domestic product. Once you get to America's running at like 130% of GDP, they're never going to pay the debt back. But that's what the Donald wants to bring down. Now, the Donald can't stay in office forever, and you can guarantee that if the Democrats get back in, like the Labour Party, they will just borrow and they'll take it way over. We've got our national debt is below 3 trillion, but it's going to head above 3 trillion for the first time. She's used the phrase fiscal headroom. She's got more fiscal headroom from about 10 billion to 22 billion. Oh, is that the 22 billion she was complaining about? That was a black hole that we couldn't afford, and now she's got, some fiscal headroom. You know what headroom is, don't you? Back at the bike shed. Let me see if I can. I've learned something tonight. So some analysts say that this fiscal headroom means more short-term pain, but maybe fewer emergency tax fiddles later. But I'm going to wind up with one last question about the budget. So I hope it's made sense, because tomorrow morning all of the newspapers are going to go through it like it's death by 1,000 cuts. They're just going to go for it. But you don't really need to see all the shite that's in the newspapers to know that we've just had a shafting. So I'm going to ask you a very important question again at the end of this, and it is this. When you add it all up, not like Rachel Reeves and the OBR, does this budget feel like a turning point for Britain? Does this budget feel like a turning point for Britain? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. Oh, I remember Max Headroom well, Amalia Grassi. Hang on, I see you. What are you saying? You're having a conversation, and it's obviously something important. 2 National Guard soldiers have been shot outside the White House, and the suspect is in custody. Maybe we should do something about the White House, because they've got missiles on top, and there's stuff. I mean, they're spending 350 million on a ballroom. How big is Trump's kahunas to want more ballroom? So everybody's saying no. Does this budget feel like a turning point for Britain? And everybody is saying no. Oh, Gribbo, very good point. 1, a turn for the worst. So I just want to say to you, thank you for being here this evening. Some of these subject matters that we do are quite dry, but they're really important. The important ones, the important subjects, and the important detail is what you need to concentrate on, in my view, because other people don't. They just want to watch Strictly, or they just want to watch shite on the TV. They're not actually awake and responding. So in my view, today's budget wasn't about growth. It wasn't about fairness. It was about survival. The government's, not yours. And we've looked at a budget that tries to do several things at once. Lower bills, reduce child poverty, protect pensioners and fund public services, whilst also raising money through less visible means. Yes, of course, it's a balancing act. And like any balancing act, it depends entirely on your point of view. Stealth taxes, frozen thresholds, welfare expansion, and cost of living theatre. The question is, let me just do this. Thank you again. Thank you. To those that have supported the channel this evening. As I say, this cost of living theatre. The question now is simple. Is this budget that turning point for Britain that we need? You said no. The majority said no. I would say 99% said no in the chat. Or is this a reality? It's just another pickpocket act from a state that's run out of ideas and money. I'd love to hear your truth in the comments. I was going to do David Lammy, The Fool on the Hill, but it's data heavy. I think I'm going to wind up tonight's live at that. For many, many differing reasons. So if you could be so kind as to just smash the likes and get it over 100 by the time you leave the body of the Kirk. The next live is going to be Sunday. I have a real busy few days. There's a lot going on in the background, which I will tell you eventually, but not for the moment. I can't. But thank you to everyone who's been in the body of the Kirk this evening. Please make sure that you leave it tidy, because the choir boys will kick off and want more Mars bars. Remember that we might have to make the altar wine into shots, because they're going to stick the taxes up. And thank you for being there in the comments, because it's been very, very interesting. And thank you for indulging me with all your opinions tonight. It's not an echo chamber. You can disagree, but I think people have had enough. The other thing that I wanted to say about today's budget, and only this, is they can't get away from their obsession with Nigel Farage and reform, can they? They know they're done. They'll have been doing focus groups. They know they're done. They're over. They're finished. Kemi Badenoch? Well, I think there'll be a lot of people saying, oh, she's not so bad. I mean, she was nearly out on her ear, because nobody believed she could lead the Tory party. But today, ooh, let's see how that goes over the next 4 or 5 weeks or so. But they are obsessed with Farage and reform, and they absolutely, categorically don't want him getting into power. But it doesn't matter. The system's rigged. Doesn't matter who gets in. It's always the government. But I do think we need a Doge here, Department of Government Efficiency, because I bet you we can save hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions. And we can stop paying sniffy in Ukraine for now, because it's going to be peace. But $3 billion a year for 100 years. How do we in shite, man? We've seen through it. It's all corrupt. We've seen absolutely, categorically through it. So thank you for, as I say, it's a tough subject, but we can always laugh at them, because they're fools. They're corrupt and they're foolish. We are the backbone of this country. We are the ones that matter. We are the ones that have worked our fingers to the bone. Hang on, I can feel a song coming on. So thank you for being in the chat this evening. Thank you for being in the body of the Kirk. We'll clean it up we'll take the altar wine and save it and put it in the fridge. And I'll see you Sunday, 7:15. If there may be some things before, I might do a lammy as a standalone rather than wait until Sunday. But look after yourself. Thank you for your likes. Make sure that you're subscribed. But most of all, thank you for your indulgence and thank you for staying with me tonight. Wherever you go, whatever you do, be safe, be well. And the Theatre of the Mind is not a show. It's a mission. And we go again Sunday night from 7:15 with the parish notes. My name's Adrian Allen. See you Sunday. Look after yourself.